We're live. Hey everyone, this is Scott from Hi-Lux Optics.
Hey, this is Chris with Hi-Lux Optics.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Sorry, this is one of our first live streams. We're still getting the swing of things. I'm actually using my phone to stream this to the computer. It's a whole big thing. We are back from CMP now. Spent the last week out there at Camp Perry where the weather was a little more variable than we were used to. Shot some videos, talked to some folks. Didn't have time for shooting, unfortunately, but hey, that's just how things go sometimes. We're here to answer questions now that we're back, and I'll let Chris take it away.
Yep. So yeah, like Scott mentioned, we just got back from Camp Perry, and man, it wasn't as hot this year, but it was very humid and extremely wet. I think we had scattered thunderstorms pretty much every single day we were there, except for one of the days. But I mean, that didn't stop any of the shooters out there from shooting and having a good time. But we had some fun this year. Made some more videos. You guys will see. We did one of the Barracks tour. I think actually that one just went out this morning, and man, they're actually surprisingly comfortable. You know, it's got air conditioning. You got a bathroom. You got a big fan. Man, it sounds like a good time.
And each person gets their own bed, which is definitely a lot easier sleeping. So while we were out there, among the videos we filmed, one I'm sure you might have already seen was the Barracks video, which, again, was not meant to be taken seriously, but we had some fun with it. Following in that vein, I'm going to do a David Attenborough-style mockumentary with my best British accent and impersonation, talking about the various goings-on the line. Following that, we are going to be doing 2 new shooter advice videos, one for absolute complete beginners, down to the level of what equipment do you even need to shoot a match? And following on with a video about why did you even start shooting? Because everyone, as it turns out, pretty much had a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a store tour. We go to the store every year that we're out there, and it's finally time that we shot some video of it.
Yeah, and when we're trying to film that advice piece, we try to talk to shooters of all different stages of life, different calibers, some guys from service teams, some just casual shooters shooting their first match. And we just really tried to get a perspective from everyone. And basically, the general consensus seems to be that the people in the shooting community are really the cream of the crop. Everyone there is super friendly, welcoming. Even if you don't have any gear, you can probably find someone who will let you borrow their gun or their spotting scope or whatever you need.
That was actually one of the common themes that pretty much everyone mentioned. If you start out and you don't have the gear to shoot with, turns out there's going to be someone there who's probably willing to lend it to you. Just like the first time that we ever shot it, that wasn't our rifle, that wasn't our ammo, but we ended up shooting a couple matches and had a lot of fun doing it.
Yep.
And I think your first big purchase was that jacket, wasn't it?
Actually, yeah, that and the M1 Grand. And oh, you guys better get on it. The CMP is running out of guns. Running out of toys to play with. I don't know what we can say or we can't say on YouTube, but they're running low on inventory, and better get them before they go out.
Yeah, YouTube's policies regarding firearms changed in May and June and probably secretly in July. I don't know. They're probably going to change again. So if we end up getting kicked off, that is life. Let's see. We have here from Zach A. I would love to see a Cole Morgan 4-power reproduction. Oh. I have not actually laid hands on one of those.
I think I saw one. Remember Pat from Camp Valor?
Yeah.
I think he had an M1C with the 4-power, the Cole Morgan.
That was what was on it?
Mm-hmm. So
I have laid hands on one.
He had a beautiful version of it. It was immaculate wood, original receiver, and the barrel had no pitting or anything. And he had like one of the Cole Morgan 4-power scopes, and that thing was in great shape too. And I forget how much he got it for, but he said he made some trades and got a smoking deal for it. But that's something we'll keep on the table and consider for the future.
Man, that's how the best old gear is acquired. It's unfortunately someone dies or someone needs to trade it for some reason, and then just the stuff that you can get from people that have held on to it for 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
I mean, John from Camp Valor was saying he stumbled upon an estate sale, and these guys didn't know what they were pricing out, and they had some Mausers, some Swedish Mausers, some 92 Mausers, and they were selling them for like $250 each. And he's like, I'll take them all.
Oh my God, I would take all of them. I'd pay extra. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. But speaking of old rifles and things finding a resurgence in the hands of new shooters, We are here to talk about the M40 rifles and various other rifles used in the new class of CMP shooting.
So this year, the Camp Perry changed the rules and they added a new class for the vintage sniper, and that includes scopes for the M40 and also the M1A. Our M40 green USMC scope does qualify as one of the scopes that are legal for that class. And actually, I think at the Eastern Games before the Nationals, I'm not sure. I haven't looked up the results of just the past Nationals, but some of our buddies, Dan Dutzman, Dwayne Lewis, they took, I think, second overall with our M40 scope. So they did fairly well, and they had some feedback for us that we were going to take into account for the next generation, specifically with the crosshair thickness. But that could be a tricky topic, especially when you have old eyes and young eyes. What is the best thickness? It's all personal preference. But fortunately for us and for you guys, one of our buddies, Mike Sexton, he's also one of our dealers, he can actually stretch a custom reticle for you from any thickness from 8/10 up to 1,005/10. So whatever your heart desires, we probably have something for you.
I actually, on the side, am experimenting incredibly old-fashioned with spider silk reticles, and I hate spiders, but also it does get you very thin, very sharp lines. So I don't know how thin those are, like 3 microns or so, which is just too thin to use. Don't go that thin. Question here from Tana Rose Green. The shipping date of the new 6-power long scope.
It's today. We just got them in. We boxed up a bunch of them this afternoon, and they're all going out. All the pre-orders are going out today. So depending on where you are in the States, maybe 3 to 4 business days, and you'll get them at your front door.
Yeah, they either went out this afternoon or they'll be going out first thing tomorrow morning. I see you there. All right. So we do actually have a question related to the M40. I'm going to read this one to you because it's in 3 parts. I'll take this in order. Hi, guys. So I can get the same USMC M40 Tactical Hunter, which is the black one, in green, but with the reticle ranging and reticle hash marks. So virtually the same rifle scope. So I guess this question is asking, can we swap reticles among the 2 versions of the M40?
At this time, it's not possible. We don't do it here. They're configured with BDC reticle in the black scope, or just the original style AccuRange reticle in the green scope. We kept it that way just for guys who wanted to build M40 reproduction rifles that are a little bit more faithful to the originals. But that is something Mike Sexton can do for you. He can stretch a reticle or do a custom reticle for you.
The guy is phenomenal with custom jobs.
But it would only be for the second focal plane portion. So the crosshair portion with the BDC, he can do that for you. But the first focal plane ranging scale, because it is glass etched, it is what it is, at least for now.
And that at least is the same between the 2 versions. So there's nothing really to change there. Now, follow-up question, is there a military discount?
We do offer a military discount. It'd be 15% off. You just got to send us an email from your .mil email address, or send us a copy of your military ID or a redacted version of your DD-214.
And what kind of warranty is there?
We offer a lifetime warranty on all our products, pretty much. As long as you're not beating stuff with a hammer, even if it was an accident, we'll take care of you.
We have seen some things. Side note, and possibly one of my favorite stories related to this, the long scope is not meant to be used as the barrel of a muzzleloader. Yeah. So the next question, which is completely off topic here, and I'm fairly certain contains a typo, so I'm just going to fix that as we go. I have inherited an 1869 Sharps, originally owned by my great-grandfather, IM-83. It probably never was fired against a human or a beast, and was used primarily for target competitions in the 1870s and 1880s, and maybe 1890s, including one against Annie Oakley, nice, in a prelude to a Wild West show. Family lore says it is a 4090 octagonal barrel blued set trigger. I do not see in my research any reference to a 4090 being manufactured, but there were custom jobs, so maybe it is. So I will say the 4090 Sharp straight cartridge was actually a real cartridge. Unfortunately, that cartridge relies on patents that existed as late as 1872, and the 1869 Sharps was only produced in maybe 1,000 or so of them from about 1869 to 1871. So the cartridge does definitely come after the rifle. And the rifle itself was normally chambered in either 4477 or Yeah, or 5070, sorry. Both of those are going to be a larger diameter than the 4090, so at the very least, you're talking about a rebarrel. I'm assuming because the 4090 sharp straight is a little different, you probably have to change the ejector, the breech face, everything else. So if that were the case, I think your best bet would be to look on the side of the barrel and see if the cartridge is marked there. If not, I wouldn't go guessing. Take it to a gunsmith and have them measure it. Plus, boxes of the 4090 sharp straight, the original boxes of like 20 rounds are selling for about $500. I can't imagine that you can find brass for that thing.
Well, there may be a company that does aftermarket brass, like new brass for old antique calibers. I'm sure there's something.
You're thinking Starline?
Starline, I'm not sure if they do it, but man, I forget the name of the company. I'll look it up. We'll post a comment down below. But yeah, I seem to remember stumbling upon a company that did new brass for antique calibers, like Civil War era calibers and obscure calibers of that sort.
And I guess, I mean, it's probably going to be, it's not going to be a high pressure rifle. The steel from that time, especially if it is an original and hopefully not a Damascus, it's really just going to be a light shooter. So that barrel, I mean, if it's not rusted or pitted, it's probably still going to be okay. And you could probably reuse the brass a ton of times. Although we have shot brass from about 1948 that split every other round. So,
to be fair, those loads were pretty hot. So,
yes, they were. Oh, my shoulder does not thank you. But getting back to CMP, we want to have a little bit of a talk about the 8 power. So one thing that we encounter quite often, and this goes for pretty much any of these old style mounts that have the cross bolt and the lock onto a block, the Unertl style, the crescent cut, the posa cut. These, sometimes if you don't seat them right, or if you keep moving them around and you keep having to adjust the thumb nut, if stuff wears down over time and you need to replace the cross bolt, you can't just turn this thing out, take the cross bolt out. There's actually a set screw. And this, Chris being one of our engineers, I'm going to have him point this out. What is the proper manner to take out the cross bolt?
So first, you would need to remove the scope from the mount so that you can even see the cross bolt. And I'll move it up a little closer so you can see.
Oh, yeah.
The camera.
That's life. Learning process here.
Is it in focus?
No?
So,
there you go. Yes.
So this is the mount. Of course, it's backwards right here. This is the way we look at it from the position of the eyepiece. If you look at it from here, there's a set screw on the top face of the mount, and you have to remove the scope from the mounts in order to access that. First thing I would do is I would back out this cap screw at 45 degrees that holds the plunger and the spring. Once you remove that, you can use I think it's a 2 millimeter Allen. Let me check.
That sounds about right.
We have the big calipers.
Good thing in.
So let's see, giant calipers. I think it's this one. Yeah, 2 millimeters or so. 1.5 millimeters. So it's a tiny Allen.
Yeah, it's 1.5. Real darn small in technical terms.
Yeah, so you would loosen this up from the top face like this. Once you get it loosened, that cross bolt. So that set screw acts as a friction screw on the cross bolt. As you can imagine, if you just crank that cross bolt, you're going to strip all the threads off. But if you back this off, you can remove the cross bolt. Another question that we commonly get is, are cross bolts and thumb nuts compatible with the original Unertl? And unfortunately, they aren't. I think the original Unertls use a 640. And this one actually is the cross bolt on ours is a metric M4. But that's something we may look into doing in the future. But at this time, they're not cross compatible. But the thumb nuts are. The thumb nuts will work, and the R mounts will seat on a Unertl crescent cut block.
I should also mention though, Unertl back in the day, his precision shooting scopes were not his moneymaker. So that was really more of a labor of love for him, and a lot of the parts were hand fitted. So his blocks had a fair degree of variability in their width, let's say. If your block does not fit the ring, if it's too large for the ring to actually go on it, and you have the original blocks, please grind the rings and not your blocks, because those blocks, the originals, are hard to come by. Don't touch that. Don't modify your rifle. Just slip a triangular file in there and take that sucker down a few thousandths. And we found that even on the extreme, it really only is generally a few thousandths of outsizing. So that's a lot easier to take out of here than trying to reshape the face of a crescent cut. Oh man, last thing. While we were at CMP, of course, I couldn't help but spend more money. So there's an air rifle coming my way, which should be arriving, I don't know, at some point in the next week or so. Keep an eye out for more content featuring the air rifle because I haven't bought one before and now I have to shoot it. The pellets have already arrived. I got a few different varieties from about 7.5 to 8.25 grains in weight. I don't know what this thing likes, and it's cheaper than buying regular ammo, so I got a lot of it.
Yeah, that should be pretty fun to play with. We'll set up a little range, maybe indoors. We'll make a little custom backdrop for it so we don't damage any of the walls or anything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with that too.
I can't imagine little Ralphie will shoot your eye out with that thing. I don't want those pellets to bounce. I hope they're soft and we're just going to shoot into like dirt or something. Oh my God, I don't want to put my eye out with that thing. But that about does it here. We'll tune back in, or we'll have you tune back in next week. Sorry, again, this is our first time doing one of these live things. And we'll update you on more questions, more fun, more shooting, and probably, knowing us, more rifles being purchased.
Yep. And before we head out, I have some questions for you. So what time works best for you? Do you guys like afternoon, like 2 o'clock? Or I guess 2 o'clock Pacific on Wednesdays? Is that a good time, or would you prefer it more later on in the week? Let us know in the comments. And until then, we'll see you next time.
All right. Now let's see if we can end this thing.
Nice.